Hi, I'm Jeff Slakey in Belfair. Thanks to the voters, soon the North Mason Regional Fire Authority is moving from here to here. I was able to catch up with North Mason Regional Fire Authority Fire Chief Beau Bakken to take us around the inside. This is cool.
It's big. It's be 21,000 square feet when it's all said and done, and it's every day we come up here and it's just taking shape little by little. They get a little bit more done. You see some more, nuance come out, some new structures, roof goes on, beams get set. So, main entrance of the building here.
Okay.
When you come in, which is a little bit different than what we have now, is you'll have a public entrance area. And right now, if you come into our existing fire station, you can really get just about anywhere you want. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
And so what will happen is there's going to be kind of the public quarters to the fire station where they can come in and be greeted by firefighters and fire staff, or they can be led into the rest of the building. And probably the biggest area we're going to find our community is coming into the training room here. And this is it's going to be state-of-the-art training center. It's about double the size of the training center that we have right now, and it can seat up to, I want to say, about 70 guests. And one of the things that's going to be really neat about this training center is there's going to be a center divider. So we can either have large training classes, so we can have regional fire training classes, CPR classes, different events that are happening in here. And then this can be sectioned off to the point where we do too. So you might have a CPR class here, you might have a disaster preparedness class over here. So, but when the public comes in, they can immediately come into this area and then use it. It'll look a lot like what we have now with PUD3 in their training facility. Really nice facility that they have down there. The other thing that we have, which we don't have in our current fire station, is when you come in, you're greeted by the staff, and then if you have a medical emergency, a lot of folks come into the fire station for medical emergencies. They drive into the fire station. They want to see paramedics right at the station. And so right now you come in and you're going to be treated right there in front of the staff. We just don't have any room for treating folks. And so one of the things that we've got now is going to be a designated treatment room. So you come in, the minute we know it's a medical emergency, you'll go in, and this is going to be a lot like a doctor's office. It'll have a treatment bed. It'll have cabinetry. It'll have note-taking ability. But you'll be treated here in privacy, which you don't have at our existing station. And then if we determine that you need to go to the hospital, and a lot of folks do when they visit us, we'll actually have an outdoor, so instead of coming back through the lobby area, medic unit backs right up here, and it's just a quick jaunt into the medic unit, and then off you go. So as you come in, you'll be greeted here. This will be the reception area that we have. We'll have our office assistants that's up here greeting the public. We'll have 2 restrooms that are back in here, and then the rest of the fire station for security measures is then cordoned off. You'll actually have to have badge access to be able to get in and through. And as you come back through, we'll start getting into the areas where you'll find your the fire authority's administration working, and that's what this entire side of the building is. So this is kind of an open concept joint work area that we'll have here. So when we come together and we've got different meetings or different things going on, we'll be able to do that here. And then as we get back into this kind of corridor of doors, we'll get into our office areas. So our public educator will be here. We'll have a conference room that we have over here, so we'll be able to do a couple things in this conference room. One, we'll be able to certainly have staff administrative meetings, but we'll also be able to operate as a small emergency operating center out of this as well. We'll have the much larger operating center that we're doing with the county when we get into large events next door. But if we're just operating as a fire department through a large scene in the community, we'll be able to operate out of this room here.
How many, at any given point, how many firefighters are going to be living here How many quarters are there?
So we're going to have as many as 10 folks that can be here at any given time, and that's when I say 10. That means 10 that are people that are living around the clock. That doesn't include any of the administrative staff that are here generally during the day and or should an event or emergency take place. And our thought behind that was, if we get beyond needing 10 people in this building per day, what we really need to be looking at is getting out and building facilities, 20, 30, 40 years down the road, but in other areas of our jurisdiction. We don't want to be all centered here in Belfair. And when I do talk about that 10, that includes our career firefighters, our student firefighters, our volunteer firefighters. So there's kind of a combination that do spend the night here overnight to be able to help with emergencies.
Is that more or less than who can stay there?
Oh, now? Yeah. Right now we're at 6 if we double up in bunks. And there's times when we get into larger overnight emergencies, we've actually pulled mattresses. They're sitting on the the living room floor, the day room floor, and that becomes the bedroom for the evening. It's not ideal. That building that was built next door was built in 1971, so it's 50 years old. And when it was built with what was in mind, and what we had at the time was an all-volunteer force. There was no paid responders at that time. And so fast forward to today, where we're a combination, where we do have folks that are working in the fire station and then living in the fire station overnight. We have greatly outgrown the building next door. Next door's facility, as far as square footage, is about 8,500 square feet. And when this is all said and done over here, this is going to be about 21,000 square feet. So you can see that there's going to be a lot more room. And not just for what we're doing today, but this is looked at as a 50-year facility. So certainly it's going to take care of us today, but it needs to take care of us 50 years into the future as well. So.
All right, where's next?
So we're just coming down the office corridors here, Assistant Chief here. My office and the Fire Chief's office will be back in here. And then as we get out of the administration side of the building, which is nice because in the building next door right now, we're kind of on top of one another. Firefighters intermixing with administration. It's tough to get any downtime, do separation of work, a lot of overlap. And so as we move down this corridor and we get into this door, this is really more of the firefighters' quarters. And it doesn't mean that we're separated, but what we're getting into is more of the living facility of where the fire station and the firefighters will actually be doing their work. As we move into this area here, this will ultimately be the kitchen. And so one of the most important places in the fire station, if you want to talk about where most of the work gets done, it's an island facility. So when we're getting our work done, it's about getting around the table, talking through issues, working through issues, but more work gets done in an island in a kitchen than does at any desk over there as far as communicating and working through issues. We move back into here, and we've got this is where the day room will be, so the dining room, and also the kind of down area, which, in a normal house would be looked at as a living room. And then one of the things that we don't have at our current fire station is anywhere to go outside and actually get some fresh air. Maybe take a meal outside, a lunch break outside, and we'll have an outdoor veranda. We can go right off the kitchen and out there to be able to enjoy the outside. Moving back into this area, we've got a couple of different spaces for the firefighters. Two of the most important if you were to ask the firefighters, two of the most important spaces for them is a workroom. This is where they get their reports done. This is where they take care of their medical reports. This is where they do their daily training. That's going to be done in this room right here. And as you can see, there's a window that's going to look right out into the Apparatus Bay. And the other thing that we've done on purpose is we put this room as the closest room to the Apparatus Bay. So knowing that they're going to be doing a lot of work in here, if anything should come up on the radio and we've got to get going quickly and get out to our trucks, boom, out they go. They're into their trucks. And I'll take you out there in just a second. This room here, this is the firefighters' workout room. And so physical fitness plays a huge part, both from a physical standpoint and from a mental wellness standpoint. But this dead space here is dedicated towards physical fitness and working out. And one of the things that we have is you'll see that it has double door entry that goes right outside. Because if you're into cross fitness phases or workouts, or you understand what those are, a lot of stuff happens indoor and then they take it outdoors, and next thing you know, they're pulling ropes and pushing over tires and doing some exercises outdoors, so the two link up and connect. moving back in this way before we get to the Apparatus Bay is, you were asking about this just a second ago, but is our dorm room facility. And so the actual living side of the house, we've got right now in our current fire station, we've got 3 bathrooms, only 2 of which have showers. And so you can imagine we get done with a workout or get back from a call, we've got 10 firefighters needing to clean up, get showers, get decon, and get ready to go for the next call. 2 showers, that takes quite a bit of time. The 4 bathrooms that we have here, in addition to the 2 that we have up in the public area, we can get our people cycled through and cleaned up a lot faster than we do now. And then on this corridor, in this row down here, this is where we have our 9 bedrooms. And so you can see that they're relatively small, but each firefighter will have its own separate bunk as they come in. And one of the neat ideas that we have to try to remove space is in this room right here. This is going to be one massive locker room. And so when the firefighters come in, they work 24-hour shifts, and when they come in, they're going to be able to grab all of their gear and equipment that they're going to use, their bedding for the day. If there's any food, if there's any uniforms that they need to keep here at the station, they'll grab it out of this locker area, take it into one of the bedrooms, and that'll be their bedroom for the night, and they'll be able to kind of store and keep their equipment here. So,
who is the contractor?
Trico is our contractor, and we're using Architects West as our designer, so those 2 are working as a team to put this together. Should note that the voters were kind enough in November of 2019 to approve a bond measure for $10 million, and so about a year after the passage of that, we spent designing and working with the contractors to figure out exactly what this is going to look like, and then in April of this year, we got underway with construction. I'm happy to report that we were both on time and on budget. We should be opening this facility and moving into it in February of 2022, so we're just about 5 months from now, almost 6 months from now, we'll be moving into this facility, which is we're really, really excited about.
And what's happening with the old facility?
So next door, we have been in talks and remain in talks to have the Mason County Sheriff's Office have their north precinct in the facility next door, along with the Department of Emergency Management. They'll have a spot and an operating location up here in North Mason as well. Right now, they don't have anything up in North Mason. And one of the things that's really neat about that is it puts your fire department, it puts your emergency management, and then it puts your sheriff's office all in one centralized location. So when we get a large event, and it's what we call an all play or an all call, where we're all being called to respond, we're all able to coordinate from this spot right here in North Mason and get out and do what we need to do together. And so the collaboration, the working together, being as close as we are to one another, it's going to be great for public safety here in North Mason County.
Has the architect and the builders done a fire hall before, and how much personal input did you have on the design?
So yes, the architect itself has done over 300 fire stations from a design standpoint. Trico, the construction company, is actually building a fire station up in Sultan, a little bit smaller than this one as well, but they do have fire station experience. And what was really neat is that for the better part of that year I spoke about us designing, it was us, Architects West, and then Trico working as kind of a 3-legged stool. And we essentially built this thing from scratch. We didn't really start with any previous modeling. What we really did is looked at what are our personnel needs, what's the needs of the community, what size are we looking for, how long is this building, and all of those factors went into determining what this building was ultimately going to be. When you look at this building, this is a blueprint and a floor plan that's unique to North Mason. You won't find this fire station anywhere else. It's specific to the needs here in North Mason, but again, it took a lot of time and work and designing to make that happen.
Cool. So you want to go over there?
Yeah, let's go into the biggest room of all. So I might go around the caution tape here, make sure I don't have anything overhead. One of the most exciting days that we've had on this build was the setting of these 2 large beams that span the entire width of the Apparatus Bay. 77 feet in length. They had a large crane that came in and set those. But the Apparatus Bay, as you can see, is the biggest part of the facility. It can house up to 8 vehicles, which currently our fire station can only house 4. And one of the things that we're really excited about is we just took delivery of a new fire engine that we just a few weeks, but it's almost going to be somewhat simultaneously with the opening it in the new fire station. And then also, too, we got a federal grant for a new water tender truck, and it's currently being built. And if our timeline works out just the way we hope it, we're going to be taking delivery of that new tender just as we open this up as well. So new trucks, new fire station, all coming together perfectly here in North Mason. We're super excited about it. One of the things too that we'll have here, and it's a newer concept, but when you think about a fire station and garage doors, the garage doors normally roll up. And what we're actually going to have in the front of the building is what we call bifolding doors. If you've ever been in downtown Seattle or some of the metropolitan areas, instead of your doors going up, they open side to side. And what happens is it actually, and I know it might seem minuscule, but it actually can save several seconds on how fast our trucks get out. When they open bifold and they go side to side and open up, they're open in about 2 seconds, actually a little bit under 2 seconds. And compared to a door that rolls up. And so getting out quickly, getting out safely, getting out to the emergency happens a lot faster, and we'll have that new technology here in our fire station. A little bit, you'll see that we've got 3 distinct portions of the building. We've got, on the left-hand side, we've got the firefighters' living quarters and office space. We're going to call that the clean side of the station. That's then interrupted by the apparatus bay where our trucks park right in front of me. And then off to the right, something we have in our current fire station is what we call the dirty side of the fire station. And so when we come back, sometimes we have things that happen on medical calls, blood, and some certain things that take place out there. Commingling any of those materials with our firefighters in their living space, which we're doing now, by the way, in our current fire station. This fire side of the fire station is not anywhere near what we're doing on this side of the fire station in the living room. Same thing with the ventilation. Cross-contamination, so none of the particulate that comes out of our materials here that we're bringing into the dirty side makes its way over to the new side. And the other thing that you'll have in this fire station, which is a new technology as well, is negative pressure. So you'll actually, when you go in from the inside of the fire station in the apparatus bay, you'll actually almost feel a wind lock. And what's happening is that the clean side of the fire station is over. That way, none of the particulate that comes back on our fire trucks and into our dirty side makes it in. That pressure pushes it back into the apparatus bay. And almost like when you walk into a skyscraper in Seattle and you can feel that swoosh when you walk in, you'll get that same thing here at the fire station, and that's done on purpose. And another thing that's interesting about this building as well with the ventilation system, and this is something that we probably wouldn't have planned on or even really thought about 5 years ago, but with COVID-19, the ventilation system in this building is really designed to separate different portions of the building. Earlier I showed where a patient might come in and be seen. That one room has its own ventilation system. The air that's in that room that could be with a sick patient will not be transferred to anywhere out throughout the fire station. And that's really kind of a thought process that's come on with COVID-19 and any airborne diseases that we have floating around. And of course, there's more than just COVID-19. We need meningitis and tuberculosis. But it's a very safe station for our firefighters in the building that we have.
To learn more about the construction project and the North Mason Regional Fire Authority, visit them online at northmasonrfa.com.